tall sergeant in over 50 years. Good morning, 4th grade, Yuba Street School. It's an honor to be here with you. There's a few people I'd like to thank prior to getting into the program. We have Mayor Ganelli, who was very supportive of veteran projects around town, very supportive of the VFW, the American Legion, and all the organizations that were involved. Mayor Ganelli. I would also like to thank Principal Rob Valente and especially teacher Mrs. Lopina. And especially you, the 4th grade students at Yuba Street School, for inviting us and honoring us this Veterans Day celebration at Yuba Street School. Before we get on with the program, I'd like to introduce some real-life veterans here. We have Mr. Paul Pinkman from the United States Air Force. Paul. Paul is a Purple Heart recipient, served in Vietnam in the 1960s. I think right out of high school, right, Paul? Yeah. We have Bill Popper, United States Army. Bill Popper is also a Purple Heart recipient, having been wounded in Vietnam. We have Police Officer Michael Kronowich. Michael continued his career in the Navy for the police battalion, served in Iraq, Operation Iraqi Freedom. And we also have another distinguished guest from the police department, Carol Petrov, United States Marine Corps. Carol served in the Marines, Combat Logistic Battalion 46 on Iraq, 46 and then we have Donna Przyatsky. Donna, stand up, please. Donna is a civilian warfare, decorated combat vet. Donna herself is a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary here in Secaucus, Flotilla 10-2. She's been a member for 10 years. Rose through and is now the Flotilla Commander. And then we have very distinguished guests from the Ladies Auxiliary, Frances Fetkenhauer, who's her husband John served in the Korean War, and unfortunately late John had passed away. But he was the post commander of the VFW in Secaucus. And then we have Claire Prevost. And we have a teacher, Ladies Auxiliary. We invited the president of the Ladies Auxiliary in Lombona, but unfortunately she couldn't make it. She had a doctor appointment this morning. Okay, at this time I'll turn it back over.
American White Table by Margaret Dees Raven, illustrated by Mike Bennett. It was just a little white table, but it brought tears of pride in Uncle John's eyes. To Veterans Day, he came for dinner and stood by it, except for one person, even though nobody would be eating at it. It was just a little white table, but earlier that day, Mama had told Gretchen, Samantha, and me the little table we were setting for Veterans Day was just like the ones that have stood across America in the dining halls of the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force since the Vietnam War ended.
The tables honor the men and women who served in America's armed forces, especially those missing in action, our MIAs, and those held prisoner of war, our POWs.
It was just a little white table, but it felt as big as America when we helped Mama put each item on. And she told us why it was so important.
We used a small table, girls, she explained first, to show one soldier's rule in battle against many. We cover it with a white cloth to warm the soldier's pure heart when he enters his country's call to duty. We place a lemon slice and grains of salt on a plate to show a captive soldier's bitter fate and the tears of families waiting for loved ones to return, she continued. We push an empty chair to the table for the missing soldiers who are not here. We lay a black napkin for the thaw of captivity and turn over a glass for the meal that won't be eaten, she said. We place a white candle for peace and finally a red rose in a vase tied with a red ribbon with the hope that all our missing will return someday. Mama finished speaking just as the sunlight spilled on the table and filled the overturned glass. It was just a little white table, but it suddenly made me want to burst with a feeling I couldn't explain. When Mama told us how much our setting the white table would mean to Uncle John that night, then she told us something we didn't know. Our Uncle John, who gave us big bear hugs and spun us with airplane twirls and called me his kitty girl, was a POW in Vietnam before we were born. It was just a little white table, but it gave us the courage to ask Mama what happened to Uncle John in Vietnam. She quietly told us his story. When Uncle John served in Vietnam, he was sent on a rescue mission, and his helicopter was shot down by enemy lines. She began. And he and his 3 crew members were taken prisoner. One crew member named Mike had serious wounds from the crash, but Uncle John and the other men tried to help Mike get better and persuaded a guard to bring Mike home. Then one day when a guard looked away, Uncle John and the others had a chance to escape, but Mike was still too sick to go, so Uncle John stayed behind because he wouldn't leave a fellow soldier alone so far from home.
But how did Uncle John get free? We asked Mama. Sometime later, Uncle John had a chance to escape again, and somehow he was able to take Mike with him, carrying him on his back and collecting just enough rainwater and big leaves to keep them alive until Uncle John found an American infantry unit to help them. But even though Uncle John did everything he could to bring Mike home alive, Mike's wounds were just too serious and he died before the rescue helicopter landed. I know that Mike was only 20 years old and he dreamed of playing football, but he loved America enough to give his life for his country when duty called. And I know how much Uncle John loves America too, but he learned when helping Mike that a soldier risks his life for a fellow soldier because the best of your country lives in every man and woman who would lay down their life for you too.
It was just a little white table, but it needed words of gratitude, like Mama's Thanksgiving meal. So before Uncle John arrived for dinner, Gretchen, and Samantha, and I decided to put 3 gifts of our own on the table to honor our veterans. Gretchen colored pictures of all of the objects on the table, and Samantha wrote all the words of my country, 'tis of thee, as a tribute in song. But I didn't know I, a 10-year-old girl, could ever put on the table that was important as each veteran's gift of freedom to me. It was just a little white table, but I looked at it all dinner long. In the quiet inside me, I could almost hear the silent soldiers of the empty chairs saying, "Remember us, please. We are real people like your Uncle John and Mike, who left families and friends, bonds and dreams of our own to protect your bright right of liberty from disappearing as easily as sunlight from a cloud." It was just a little white table, but it took my words away when I hugged Uncle John goodnight and wanted to thank him for serving our country so bravely. So I just hugged him even harder and told him I loved him. Uncle John hugged me, Becky went harder, and I hugged him.
And that's when I knew what I could put on the table. My promise to put the words from my heart into a little book about America's White Table. And in the book, I'd use Gretchen's pictures and Samantha's song and Mama's story about Uncle John and his friend Mike. Because I hope that everyone who read it would set a white table on Veterans Day too, so the brave Americans serving the table honors won't ever feel forgotten by the country they loved so much.
Standing us all on a little white table, I tracing the grains of their families' tears, while each man and woman who serves in their place to meet a hero. And that's when I saw the tears of pride from Uncle